Hi and welcome back. Have you ever thought about going to the country of Lithuania, or specifically the city of Vilnius? Well, before a few months ago, I had not really considered it, to be honest, and I went there and I'm really glad that I did. So in this video, I'm going to talk about reasons to go and see Vilnius, and also I'll start off with talking a little bit about how easy it was to get there and some of the logistics surrounding it. Then I'll go into what to see and do and some foods to try. And lastly, I'll talk about how much I spent for my entire time there. If you're new here, my name's Karia and I've traveled to over 26 countries, and last year I retired early to travel the world full time. Let's get started. So Lithuania is in the Schengen zone, so that means that for visas, you do get a tourist visa of up to 90 days for every 180 total days. And don't forget that probably sometime next year, 2026, they are going to start doing an electronic application before you go, which will be called the EDIAS, and you'll need to fill that out before you go to the country. They do keep pushing this back. It was supposed to be 2024 and then 2025, so I don't know if it will actually happen in 2026, but that is what the current word on the street is. To get there, I used the bus. I came from Riga, Latvia. It was very easy, and the bus station is located very centrally, very close to the old town. It's about 1 kilometer from the old town, which is maybe where you'll stay if you come, and about 2 kilometers from the center of town, which is where I stayed. It is also right next to the train station, and you can use a train to get into town as well. And if you fly, it's very easy to get into town using public transportation. It costs about $1 and it only takes about 10 minutes. Once you're in town, you can walk very easily into most places, or the public transportation is very easy to use. You can use your tap to pay to take the bus, and it's about €1 for each ride. And you can use Google Maps to find out the schedules. Like I said, it's super easy to walk around. The sidewalks are very nice for accessibility. Most of them are quite wide, except if you're in the old town, you're going to have some cobblestones and a little bit more narrow sidewalks. But otherwise, it's quite easy to get around. There's also a river right in the middle of town, and there's a nice river walk that you can run or walk on or ride your bike. So it's a very active community. And there's also, if you're interested in mountain biking or biking further away, you can ride bikes all the way into the hills or all the way into the neighboring towns. There's actually a Eurovelo route. It's Route 11, which is the same one that goes through Riga. It doesn't go through Vilnius, it goes through a neighboring town, but it's not that far away from town. There's also a ton of green spaces. There's a park called Vilnius Park, which I really enjoyed. Very large, lots of biking and hiking and walking past. You can either go on dirt or pavement, depending on what you like. There's a lot of beaches there on the river as well, so it's a really, really nice place to spend some time. And there's a lot of other green spaces as well. One that I really enjoyed is called Green Lakes, and there are a few lakes and you can swim in them as well. So all along the river, there's a lot of places to swim, and there's a lot of forest land near town, very near town. So within easily biking distance or public transportation. For accommodation, like I said, I stayed in the center area. The accommodation I got was great, and I'll show you in a minute, but it was a studio, so it was quite small. But it was perfect location to get pretty much anywhere. Every morning I went for a run. I could get to the old town quite easily. And then right next to me was a large walking street where there were shops and restaurants and grocery stores. And then the river was only 2 blocks away, basically. And from there, you can go along the river path for miles and miles and miles. Let me take you on a quick tour now. Welcome to Vilnius. So I made it. I got another kind of studio efficiency unit here, and I will take you through it. It shouldn't take very long. All right, so just walk in the front door. We've got a nice armoire kind of thing here. And also, I almost freaked out because I didn't see a refrigerator in the kitchen, but the refrigerator is in the closet. There we go. It even has a little freezer. So here's the little bed, little chair. The view. Let's see if we got the fancy windows. So, oh yes, I love being back in Europe where they have the fancy windows. So I think I showed these before, but you can do that, and then you can turn it this way and open it all the way. All right. Anyway, got a little desk with some plugs down there, which is good because I can put my computer in this area. Tiny little kitchen, and not too bad. Nothing really here. This is where I thought the fridge was, and I freaked out because it wasn't there, but I love these sinks. Kettle, that's nice. This guy gave me some coffee making supplies, which is nice because I did not have those in my last place. But there's not really any way to cook. Oh, here we go. We got a toaster oven here. Oh, we got a hot plate. So we do have a hot plate. That's good. And there we go. Got a wine opener. This is important. We got priorities here, you guys. Priorities. And then last but not least, we have a little bathroom, towel warmer, and hair dryer for the ladies or the gentlemen. Does this open? It does. Anyway, we got some supplies. That's nice. And again, dual shower head seems to be the way. And we're back in the land of this turns it on and this does the heat. So back in the land of that again. All right, that's it. Welcome. So for payment methods, it was very easy. I barely needed my credit. I barely needed cash. I only used cash to tip the walking tour, but otherwise you can use credit cards for pretty much anything. And like I said, all the transportation, you can just use tap to pay with either your phone or your actual credit card. For language barriers, there were none. It was super easy to get around. Most people speak English, or if you speak Russian, they also often speak Russian. The weather is pretty temperate. It usually doesn't get super, super hot. When I was there though, in the summertime, it was quite rainy. So I believe they do get quite a bit of rain throughout the year, but even in the summertime, they get a lot of rain. But the temperature itself was probably around maybe mid 70s Fahrenheit or mid 20s Celsius. And that was in July. For food and water safety, tap water is safe to drink and there were no issues with food safety. For embassies, there is a US embassy, a UK embassy, and a Canada embassy, as well as many other European countries and countries around the world. For safety, according to Numbeo, the crime index is 28.6, which lower is better, and the safety index is 71.4, in which higher is better. So it's quite safe. As a solo traveler, I didn't find any issues with safety, being alone, eating alone, taking the train alone, walking around in the dark, none of those. And as far as community, there are a ton of expat groups, running groups, foreigner groups. Most of them are on Facebook, but there's also meetups and things like the Saturday morning park run. All right, so let's talk about what to do. There are a ton of things to do. And of course, the first one I'll start with is a walking tour. Like I've said before, I really enjoy doing a walking tour. I find it's a great way to get to know the town or city, get a little bit of the history, because I'm really interested in that, and get the lay of the land. So after that, the next day I can go out and walk around on my own, and it just makes it a little bit easier. I always do a free walking tour, but you do have to tip them, and usually it's cash only. Once you've done the walking tour, you can walk around town on your own. The main attraction is the Old Town, and there's a ton of different buildings, churches, the President Building, things like that, just to wander around and see. Lots of little cafes and restaurants and whatnot. One of the main attractions of the Old Town is the cathedral, and you can't miss it. It sits in a very large square. You can go inside, but they do have hours, and so make sure you get there within opening hours. Near the cathedral is the hill where the three crosses are. You can hike up to the hill and you'll pass the Gediminas Castle as well along the way, and you can hike up to that as well. Both places have really good views of the city, and there are different ways of getting up. So depending on what direction you go, you can hike up a set of stairs, or you can hike up more of a little bit gradual, wider dirt path, which is a little bit easier than going straight up the stairs. Near the Old Town, there's also a neighborhood called Užupis. This neighborhood, they declared themselves an independent republic, and they actually have their own rules and their own constitution. It's kind of fun, and it's fun going in and reading all the rules in the constitution, but also there's a lot of little quirky restaurants and bars, and you can also see a lot of interesting artwork in that neighborhood. Another fun street is called Literati Street, and it's kind of a little alley where there's some tributes to writers and some plaques and whatnot. Another place near-ish to the Old Town, it's a little bit closer to the train station, is called the Halės Market. And this is a market with fresh fruit and vegetables, but they also have things like clothing and artisanal products and bars and restaurants as well. In the center, near the area where I stayed, There's a museum which is housed in the old KGB headquarters, and it's called the Museum of Occupation and Freedom Fights. It's a very cool museum. It only costs €6, so that's roughly, I don't know, $6.50 or $7. And it's got all the old jail cells that you can look at. It's got a lot of information about the occupation, and then it's got some information about the resistance after the occupation. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was definitely well worth the money. If you're willing to go a little bit further out, I really enjoyed the Atvira Meno Galleria, which is an open art installation. Basically, it's a bunch of buildings, and on the sides of the buildings, there's a bunch of paintings, and you can just wander around. It's free. You can go in, and it's pretty cool. It's very fascinating. The other thing that's worth checking out if it's summertime is the river beaches. There are so many little beaches on the river. They're all free. They have showers, they have bathrooms, and it's just fun, even if you don't feel like swimming, to just go and take a picnic and sit there and watch all the families swimming. It's they're sandy too, and I actually went swimming and had a great time. So like I said, the river beaches, but also Green Lakes. I actually biked out to Green Lakes, which was a little bit of a ride. I want to say maybe 10 miles or something each way, but you can rent a bike in town for pretty good prices, and they're nice bikes, and then go out to the Green Lakes on the bike. And like I said, the bike lanes are great. The cycling culture is really good. And so it wasn't difficult to find or anything. And then when I got there, you could tell a lot of other people had also cycled there. So I parked the bike and went swimming, and it was really nice. The other thing I biked out to is called the Pilate Windmills. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, but it was kind of fun. It's a little bit out of town as well, going the opposite way of the Green Lakes. So you might need to do 2 different bike rides, but it's an old windmill from the 19th century, which apparently is one of the oldest standing ones in Vilnius. And it also has kind of an eclectic museum of old tractors and cars and whatnot. And if you ride around the area, you'll see there's a lot of people fishing. There's a little lake right there. And also it's kind of a fun place to explore. There's also a neighborhood called the Zverinas neighborhood. And this is kind of a leafy district with wooden houses. It's kind of nice to wander around. And also, if you look at the lay of the land, you can ride your bike kind of around the river because it makes a bend there, and then you can go back across straight, so you don't have to backtrack, and you can do a little loop through the neighborhood, which is nice. There are also plenty of day trips to do. One is to the town of Trakai, which you could ride a bike to if you wanted to go a little farther, or it's very easy to take the train, and they have a really nice castle. The other one is the town of Kaunas, and this town is fun to walk around. It has like a really nice walking street, and also I found a great place for beer and snacks. But I will talk about both of those places in a future video, and if I've already published it, I will put it here. But if I haven't published it yet, you'll just have to stand by for the information about that. I was just editing this and I forgot to mention where to eat. So there's a restaurant that I really liked. It's Lithuanian food, and it's called Bernelių Uziega. I'm probably completely butchering that. I will put the name up on the screen. And what you should try is the cepeline, which is like a potato dumpling with something in the inside. I tried one with pork, which was really good. It translates to Zeppelin, like the balloon, and you'll notice why, because it's kind of shaped a little bit like that. You should also try quark bars. If you've never tried quark before, it's kind of a yogurt, cottage cheese kind of dairy product. I really enjoyed it. I'll cut to a video of myself trying it for the first time, just for some laughs. It says protein with 3.8 grams of collagen and 10 grams of protein, vanilla flavor, low sugar, quark bar with collagen. Should I try it? Why not? I haven't even had lunch yet, but let's start with, I think it's gonna be sweet. Oh yeah. It's almost like eating compressed cottage cheese with chocolate on it. It's not bad. Okay, well, back to the regularly scheduled programming. So last but not least, I know you're dying to know, how much did it all cost? Well, I was in Vilnius for 1 week, so 7 days. And for accommodation, I spent $377. For dining out, I spent $45. And just so you know, the average cost for lunch is probably about $10 to $15, depending on what you get, and that's without alcohol. If you do get alcohol, beers, local beers are about $4, and any international beers are gonna be more like $6 or $6.50. And then dinner will run you about $25, depending on where you eat. I also got some really good snacks, so you should try the fried anchovies, which is kind of a local thing, and that's about $5. Or you can get a burger for about $10. So for groceries, I spent about $35. For entertainment, I spent $54, and that included the bike rental, the museum, and the walking tour. For miscellaneous, I spent 59 cents, and that was toilet fees. Good old toilet fees. For shopping, I spent $2, and that was for 2 shirts at a thrift store. For transportation, I spent $31, and that included 2 day trips, as well as local transportation. And for fixed costs, which includes my credit card fees, health insurance, any kind of cloud storage, and phone, I spent $42. So all in all, I spent $586, which comes out to about $84 a day. So a little above my budget, but it all comes out in the wash. So that's about it. That's everything. So let me know if you have any questions, or if you've been to Vilnius before. I'd love to hear what was your favorite thing about Vilnius or Lithuania in general. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And thank you very much for watching, and happy travels.